Welcome back to the Rhino Show. I'm Austin. As always, I'm joined by Tal.
Hey y'all.
And
Everyone shut up. Everyone be quiet. Listen, there are football players dropping to the ground right now. Damar Hamlin. Who all saw that?
I did. I watched it unfold
We
live.
all did.
Uh,
Listen. I'm not a speculatory kind of man, but back in my day, people didn't just fall to the ground.
Back in your
Yeah,
day.
I don't
Back
remember
in my day,
anyone falling to the
2019.
ground. Oh my god.
Oh man, this is gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one, isn't it? Okay, so what did they say he had? It was Commodio cordis, right?
Yeah, whatever that means, some doctor
Yes.
term.
Yep. Never to be seen before in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like again, like it's one of those things where like Damar Hamlin, of course, he's a good athlete. He's very healthy. He's peak condition for a human being, of course. And I guess it's one of those things where like again, this could happen to anybody. Like when you be walking through the street and you fall down and like you hit your chest, something like that. Like you get a pulmonary embolism, anything happens to you. And of course, football is very dangerous. But I just feel like in today's age, it's just so common for adults to just drop dead nowadays. It to me, it's kind of a red flag.
Big red flag. I mean, I saw the numbers right here. I'll read them off to you. From the International Olympic Committee, 29 was the average number of athletes who died per year from 66 to about 2004. It started to slowly increase. By slowly, I mean by like a couple. Okay. The number of athletes who have died suddenly in the last 2 years, this is high school, college, and pros, is 1,114. So where do we go from 29 to about, 600 a year? What changed there? You know? These athletes are still in prime condition, they're in prime shape. They don't just suddenly drop over and have a heart attack. There's got to be something that changed. Are we
Not
allowed to
only
ask
that,
what
but
that is?
no, I have a stat of my own too. In the NFL, only one person, Chuck Hughes, in 1970, died from cardiac arrest, and that was because he had heart condition. So to see this is just kind of wild, anyways. Yeah, like again, my heart goes out to his family, and like of course this is a very serious topic to talk about. But yeah, like again, football is of course a very dangerous activity, but usually we see like brain injuries, spinal injuries. This is just out of nowhere for no reason. Again, there's a chance that this, this could happen to anybody. Anybody could have a pulmonary embolism, for whatever reason. But it just feels like recently, in adults particularly, this happens way more often, and everybody just hands go up like, "Oh, well, it happened." I'm like, no, there's a reason.
Yeah.
I really don't
It's a
like what
big
I'm
concern.
seeing. I don't like what I'm seeing on social media, though, all these fake doctors and whatever, thinking that because they have credentials, their speculation is more important than our speculations, because that's what they are at this point. It's unfair to rule out the vaccine causing this entirely right now because there's no evidence on either side. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And again, I want to make it very clear, like this could just been a act of God, I don't know, a random thing, but just there's been a lot of coincidences, and I feel like in today's day and age, you can't discount these things because they starting to add up. The bodies are starting to add up. Especially because they wanted to pretend like bodies weren't dropping dead out of nowhere. We've seen that already. Yeah. And there's no value to anything that these people are putting on social media, whether they're bot accounts or whatnot. They say, oh, they're not dropping dead, yada yada yada. They have nothing to back up these claims, except we're like, oh yeah, these people are dropping dead everywhere. They were all vaccinated, They're like, where's the proof? We give them names, we give them dates, times, the teams that they played for. Like, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? Because you just say these like empty claims all the time just to shut people up. Or they play the whole, oh, these anti-vaxxers are crazy because they're just trying to blame everything on the vaccine.
Yeah, these people are
It's
crazy.
not my fault that you signed up. It's not my fault you signed up for 20 pages of side effects for a promised maybe kind of possibility of having one positive side effect that didn't even happen. That's not my fault. You're crazy.
Yeah, they are. And the best part is this. Let's say this guy was down on the field for about 9 minutes, right? Unconscious, right? They're trying to bring it back. Before the 9 minutes was up, they were already telling you what it was. These so-called doctors already had their mind up, and they were like, yeah, well, this is what's going to be like. You're telling me we can't question anything? Like, we just watched a 24-year-old healthy athlete drop on the field the same way we've seen plenty of athletes drop, the same way, that all these vaccinated people have died suddenly. I'm not, And I'm not going to say it's 100% that because I don't know. But I'm saying is you should be able to question it because it looks similar, and they're not allowing you to question it. When they say you can't question something, people are going to question it 10 times more. So they're just provoking us to question because we know what we see, and they're telling us we're crazy. Like, no,
Don't
we
believe
know
your lying eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my eyes
Well,
are
just
lying.
to create these conclusions so fast, it really does make you think a lot more than you would have initially. And also, then they tried to downplay it on social media, but then they had the feds there. Why were the feds there? That's weird. Was it to like intimidate the family, the health workers? What? Was it to like shut someone up, their family up, because the family hasn't spoken, which is kind of weird. But like, was it to come up with a story? Because what was it, the uncle or something tweeted saying that they had to like I don't even remember what he said, but he had to backtrack and say that he misspoke, which wouldn't have made sense anyways. But it just seems like they're trying to come up with a little bit of a weird story to make it seem like it wasn't vax related.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Again, I think to anybody listening out there, I think it's very important. Just listen, trust your own gut, make your own decisions, do your own research, like really take the time to digest a situation. Even like don't listen to us necessarily about everything. Take your time to really think about what's happening.
Yeah. I'm not even saying it's 100% because of the
Yeah.
vaccine. I'm not even saying it's 85% because of the vaccine. I'm just saying don't rule it out. Don't
Rule
rule
it
it
out.
out.
Yeah.
Listen, the common thread we have is that people were forced to take this vaccine, mostly athletes. I just haven't seen anyone who haven't taken it drop that out of nowhere.
I think
Yeah.
it's really sad that people have been gaslighted and manipulated into defending this vaccine like it's their child because it's weird to have so much trust in this vaccine that like why? Literally why? Is it like
We don't
you don't want to be like wrong or what is it?
like we don't even trust the flu vaccine that much, like, let alone
Yeah,
this brand new vaccine.
people get so angry when you disagree with it or you don't trust it like they trust it. It's so weird.
So peculiar.
And in New York, I believe last year that it was required for all athletes to get the vaccine. Okay. And he's a Bill, he's in New York. So that's he doesn't have to say he got the vax. I mean, if you're playing on the roster, that means you got the vax because other states, like I know with the Colts, Carson Wentz, when he was there, he had to wear a little bracelet to show that he was an anti-vaxxer. So in New York, we already know he got the vaccine then because he played. So
Yeah.
we don't have to wait for confirmation there. We already know what the state laws were, so.
And Buffalo Bills, all of them are vaccinated. And then I think it was September 4th of 2021, they made it so that all the fans too needed to be vaccinated to be there. So
Yeah, and I saw another story of a former football player that died, and he says, okay, so let's get these vaccine mandates and vaccine passports up and running as soon as possible. We see children die daily from the unvaccinated selfishness, pregnant women at risk to protect life, mandate the vaccine, jail anyone who refuses to protect life. And he just died within the last week. That tweet was sent out last year. He died suddenly.
Sad.
Maybe he should have,
Said
not
adult
sent that
decisions.
tweet,
Who
got that
knows?
vax.
I just find it very ironic that in this scenario only, they are the very, very pro-life people. Like, oh, we must protect all life just in case. Who knows? I don't care how small the numbers are. I don't know how I care that it's less than 1% of people are dying from this, and only if they're elderly. But protect all life no matter what. Oh, including fetus lives? Absolutely not.
No.
yeah.
Absolutely not. The
Well,
more you kill, the better.
they say the same thing too. I swear they're being told to say it. I swear they have like a script that they're all being given because it's all the same thing that they all tweet out or say like when they're being interviewed or something. It's all the same. I don't even think they stand by any of this, to be honest.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It's like
people are
Operation
scared.
Mockingbird. That's what it is.
Yeah. Honestly, people are scared. That's the truth. I think we are in a very scared nation nowadays. There's no confidence, there's no strength, there's no courage, and I think it's probably okay to be scared in certain scenarios during war, perhaps the time to be scared. But people are so scared that they are losing their minds and they're giving up all sense of freedom and all sense of agency to this third party government, and it's ridiculous.
Yes, it is. I think with this whole Damar Hamlin thing, people were so afraid of people asking questions. They're like, oh, well, we don't need to speculate what caused this. It's too early. Let him fully heal before we talk about this. It's like, in my opinion, we can obviously feel bad for the guy. You can pray for the guy, but you can also care about what caused the injury to somebody. And that the more time you wait, the more harm it causes to others because you're not asking those questions you be asked. What happened to this guy? Was it a freak football injury, which could have happened? Yeah. Well, if it is, then we need to have conversations of what we may be able to do to better protect the players. Maybe it's a different design of the helmet or something. Like there's something you could do to protect injuries from these hits. Or if it's a vaccine related, which by the way, will never get out because the NFL has enough money to work with the government. And if it is vaccine related, they will never say that. So, but if it is, it'd be nice to alert others. Wouldn't you think? I mean, stop getting that booster that you're promoting on TV every other commercial because Pfizer sponsors every NFL game.
Every single thing.
One would think so, yeah.
I would think. Yeah, and like if you watch the video, like he didn't really get hit that hard either. Like it's pretty average, even like subtle hit. And yeah, he just fell to the ground. So it's either a freak incident, like a freak thing, I don't know where act of God, just happened to be his time for that to happen, or there was a cause. And I think the odds are in favor of there was a cause. And the most wide known thing that happened recently was a vaccine that was untested and experimental. This is the most obvious answer.
Yeah, and I do agree with you, Austin, also because it's not like we're going directly to his family either and like asking what happened. Like just because that happened, it's horrible, pray for him, whatever. But like your brain doesn't shut off. Like it can't, like your speculation shouldn't have to stop for like 5 seconds,
So
this is what happened the last time.
Technical difficulties here. Tal just changed colors on us.
So we're back. Rhino show. Woo! Why do you guys think the feds were there?
Do you want me to go full conspiracy theorist mode?
Yeah.
To shut up all the actual answers that they might have actually given people, but then they were like, yeah, we can't allow that information out there, so we'll shut them up real quick.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought too. I just wanted to see what you thought. What about you, Cole?
Always there. The feds are always there.
Feds are always there.
If there's one thing that we learned from the Kyle Rittenhouse situation is that they have drones somewhere everywhere, always watching. They have people everywhere, always just hanging out. The feds are always there, obviously.
Yeah, it's just a weird situation. Like even the game itself, in my opinion, shouldn't have been postponed. It shouldn't have been canceled because this is an unprecedented action we've never seen before. Like it just said everything about the situation is just so off. Like with the feds, like with this hit, first off, and like you said, Quan, that hit was weak. Okay, it's a weak hit. I've seen 100 worse hits this week, and I had to argue with people all night long when this was happening. Like that was a weak hit. Are we watching the same hit? Like, no. Okay, we're not going there. Yeah. So like the hit was weird. The delaying the game was weird. Then all of a sudden they canceled it. Then there's the feds, and then the ambulance sat outside the stadium for like half an hour. It's like there were so many weird events going on, and I just don't know what to think about it.
The ambulance also didn't have anything on it, and even like the private ambulances usually do, if you look at it. But that's another conspiracy. So
this is what we're good at.
Listen, this is all conjecture, of course, guys. Listen, that's our thoughts out loud for y'all to hear. Just thinking out loud.
But anyways, prayers for him. Apparently, he was able to communicate through writing today, so that's a step. Yeah, he asked if they won. And they told him that he won the game of life, I think. Something like that.
That's a little gay.
Yeah.
That's a little gay.
It's a little corny, a little cute, whatever. But
it's a little corny. But okay. At least his brain isn't mush, so that's good for him.
Yeah.
Well, they canceled that game, so that game won't be played. So we'll see the impact it has on the season. Hope Damar gets better. But I think that's enough football talk. So on the other side of this break, we'll be back with the great race for Speaker of the House.
The XM42 Flamethrower. Pick up your ultralight backpack for a longer burn time. Turn up the heat at your next bonfire. Get yours now on sale at warfieldarms.com.
We just can't allow that to happen. That's why those of us are saying, like, look, you pushed us into this corner, so now we're saying we won't vote for anyone but McCarthy. That's why we're saying it, because we cannot let the terrorists win. That's basically what's happening.
Terrorists. You guys are terrorists. Did you both know that?
Yeah, I've been told a few times, actually.
By Eye Patch McCain?
I actually would not. I actually didn't hear the original version of this clip. Like, what happened?
He's basically calling the 20 people that were not voting for McCarthy terrorists because they were holding out on electing McCarthy as the speaker. So basically, if you try to go against the swamp and you try to represent your people and you try to do what's right for the country, you're a terrorist because Eye Patch McCain says so.
Mr. Ukraine says so. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder. So, like, listen, okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here in just a second.
I am not.
I wonder if he's trying to say, hypothetically speaking, I wonder if he's trying to say, if we keep holding up the process and we don't unite what it was unite, then we're just letting the left win. Is maybe what he's trying to say. Even so, I agree with that. I think the fact that we're able to discuss and disagree and have a conversation is the point of our government. Is to talk. Is to convince each other. There's a reason why there's some rules in Congress so that they can sit down and talk to one another and actually try to convince one another instead of just saying, "Oh, let's all do the same thing together."
Yeah, they finally showed up to work. I mean, this is the first time in forever that they worked like 4 or 5 days in a row.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
like I said on my Instagram, we knew this was going to be done last night because politicians don't work on the weekends. So we knew that wasn't going to go around to 16. 15 is where they drew the line. It was midnight too. They worked late.
They had other options and they could have put someone else up. McCarthy has proven that he's not a good speaker. He's proven that he's a rhino. And all those people that voted for him are rhinos.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Pretty
And I
crappy
gained
individual.
a lot of respect for Boebert and a lot of respect for Getz also.
I think there is a lot of political games going on, and I wouldn't. Yeah, and I think we like to talk about the Democrats making deals, but Republicans also like to make deals. And there's a lot of favors being had to one another, and I think that's kind of what's kind of playing out a little bit here as well. Is seeing that certain people are in other folks' pockets because of other deals they signed, of other bills that went through, and it's a power grab. And it's like it's like a power flex, and so we're trying to see who is with us and who's against us. I mean, as far as them in their little cool kids corner, but say, hey, if you don't vote with us and you are uncool and you're supporting the terrorists, whatever. And yeah, it's just that's what we're saying. Like, if you notice, maybe 10 to 20% of Republicans are actually trying to do their job, actually good Republicans. The other like 90 to 80% are rhinos, or people who just lie or are just like go along with it for the votes.
Yeah, they were trying so hard to intimidate them the entire time, but it wasn't working.
And like
these deals, though, if they benefit the American people, fine, make your deals. But it's the corrupt, like, gross deals that I'm not okay with.
It's like, yes. I think what we really liked about Trump was that he was good at the art of the deal. I think what we see inside of like politics a lot is, yes, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. And then you have these bills that are like 5,000 pages long because everybody's getting a little dip in, the little tokens in there. And Trump is like, no, listen, we're gonna deal over what's actually on the table. And then if it's a bad deal, it's a bad deal. It's kind of as simple as that. And everybody else is like, no, we gotta add this in, add that in, add in this part of the bit. Like, oh, this new inflation bill, let's add in war fund for Ukraine. Let's add in transgenderism in Afghanistan. Let's add this in, that in. And it's like all over the place. And Trump was like, no, we're doing just this one thing.
Transgenderism in Afghanistan. I think that's the death penalty. I don't know if they allow that there, but I get what your point is. Did you guys see I forget who it was, the one that one guy that had to get held back? He was like trying to he was getting all heated in a conversation, and he walked up to somebody and somebody grabbed him by the face and pulled him back. Please tell me you both saw that.
I didn't see that.
They were trying to get in Get's face, and yeah.
Why can't that guy, whoever's name is, he's irrelevant because I forget his name. Must not be good at his job. He's fighting with the swamp, so screw him. So he's all passionate about getting McCarthy as a speaker. Why can't he be passionate about any of the bills he passed? This guy's like, oh yeah, I want to fight. Why can't you show that kind of emotion when something matters? Where's it at?
But also, I think I watched the video and someone said this is a good sign because if there's discourse, that means that there are people on different sides talking.
Yeah.
And so I actually feel comforted by this little riffraff going on in the Congress. I feel a little comfort. Like, okay, so people are standing up. People are saying something out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very interested to kind of see how it all settles down overall and seeing how things shake up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I know Joe Biden was calling what was happening embarrassing, which he's one to talk. Well, or not talk, not finish a sentence, but it's fine. He says, "Oh, I'm going blue again." It's like, okay.
Anyways,
good.
but did you guys see that? I think all the Democrats and then like one Republican went up to the front steps to commemorate January 6th.
Oh man, what
Yeah,
a
that
you know,
cringy moment.
yeah, very cringe because January 6th, it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite holidays throughout the year. Honestly, like they want to make it some special day, so I'm all for it. I'll celebrate. It's Patriots Day.
It's just, and my thing was, I made a video about it on TikTok. At the political warfield, by the way. I made the video and I said, and I did the audio where it said, you know what this never was, that serious. January 6th was never as serious as Democrats made it out to be. And that's not the truth. And then someone said, well, people died. I'm like, yes. That one protester who was shot by a trigger-happy police guy, absolutely, her death was serious.
Yeah,
absolutely, that was serious. Everything else was not as overblown as Democrats wanted it to be. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think it was good. But the Democrats acted like it was a 9/11 terrorist attack and America was going underwater.
Well, that's because the news is making it seem like that. I just saw something on ABC News yesterday. They really make it seem like it was all Trump's fault. They have like random clips of his speech that are totally twisted and stuff. Like they didn't include the part where he said to keep everything peaceful,
Yep.
and they didn't include the part where there was one guy who was yelling to go inside the Capitol, and everyone was like, "What? No, dude!" Like, they don't include those clips. Where are those?
Right.
Exactly.
If it was so
And,
horrible, you wouldn't have to twist the story now, would you?
Exactly. And when it first happened, I was talking to a liberal friend of mine, and I was like, "Yeah, it's crazy how the blame's all on Trump." And he told me everybody to be peaceful. He goes, "But no, peaceful is a dog whistle." I'm like, "I'm sorry." He goes, "Yeah, Trump saying peaceful is like a mafioso saying, take a swim." I'm like, okay, so the president of the United States saying be peaceful is definitely a dog whistle for burning down the Capitol. I see. What evidence do you have for that? There's no evidence for that. I makes no sense.
The guy
They will
can't
literally-
win.
Can't win.
What do you want him to say? What do you want him
Trump-
to say?
If Trump said everything that the Democrats wanted him to say, like if he word for word just copied down the like, leftist liberal manifesto and said it out loud, it would still be a dog whistle for them.
Yeah. I want to talk on two things we just touched on. Ray Epps, the guy that was telling everybody to go in. They have conversations with him and a family member. Nothing will ever be brought up to that. He'll never be charged. They're going to clear him. We all know he's an agent, FBI agent. He's playing it there, whatever. Start the insurrection. And then Ashley Babbitt, the one that got shot by the trigger happy cop. Her mom was arrested for jaywalking on January 6th. Jaywalking. They now enforce that, and she was arrested for it. So who knows if she'll be gone for 2 years, because there's still about 300 last I saw people that were locked up for, the January 6th insurrection. We still got people in political prison, but it's 2 years later, and I guess they deserve to rot there. Nobody wants to talk about them anymore.
What I'm confused about is why ignite all this rage within these people about January 6th, and then of all people you could have arrested, the mom of the girl that was dead.
The only person arrested there. There was a group walking across the street protesting her death, and they chose to arrest the mom.
That is a horrible look for them. Horrible.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about a lot. They're like, "Oh, but the police officer died there." I'm like, nobody besides Miss Babbitt died there. There was no officers killed. Not a one. Yeah. Not a one. But to this day, people still believe that there were.
Yeah.
But no, BLM, those BLM protests that left thousands dead, thousands and billions of dollars in damages, burned down police stations. No. Those guys are American heroes.
Peaceful protest. That's how it's done in this country.
That was done. Listen. If Republicans did a peaceful protest, as the BLM people define it, then we will be the number one most hunted party. There will be internment camps for Republicans.
100%.
We're 1,010%.
Well, the BLM thing, that was another part of the ABC News thing that I saw yesterday. I was hoping it was satire, but I don't think it is. It was also saying that like the BLM protests are so peaceful, but were met with such force. But then January 6th, they're doing nothing and yada, yada, yada. I really want to like find it and show you guys, because it was just insane watching it. I was just like this on my bed. I was like,
Hey, for real right now.
No way.
But yeah, again, like I'll say, when January 6th happened, I don't know a single Republican who was like, "Yeah, this is fantastic." Who at all supported anybody's actions of breaking into a building and breaking into a Capitol building and destroying things. No one was like, "No, this is really fantastic." No, I'm like, "No, that's bad. You shouldn't do that."
Yeah.
Republicans have thousands of peaceful protests, and the one time we have one that gets a little bit out of hand, the Republicans like, "Oh, this Republicans won all the whole entire time."
Yeah, I mean, it was such a bad scene. We had the Viking guy, we had the podium guy. We had these guys that were, I mean, they created their moment. They're going to go down in history for sure. No one's going to forget about them. But, they were just waved in by the same police officers that, shot an unarmed veteran, led in the building, but, framed as the terrible insurrectionist. But, that's all history now. You ain't going to change it. They aren't ever going to let it go. Pretty sure they'll be talking about it in like 7 years from now, and they'll be like, "What's 9/11?" Because they say it's worse.
It's the 12th year anniversary for January 6th. I also don't know why it's so like when you say that Antifa was probably dressed up with like Trump apparel and stuff there, it's like crazy to people. Do people know that Antifa, like they show up to all these rallies and stuff like that? I went to how many rallies for Zeldin? I looked Antifa right in the face. Right in the freaking face. Because I was there with a sign outside telling everyone where to park right before the rally. Look them right in front, like right in their face.
They're here.
They're there. They're always there, and they're always dressed up in like Trump hats and Zeldin shirts or whatever. Republican candidate this, Republican candidate that. They're always there. So to say that they were at the Capitol that day dressed up as Trump supporters, I don't know why it's crazy to people.
Yeah, and also again, at the end of the day, even like worst, like maybe like in a worst case scenario, we say, "Hey, listen, there were some Trump supporters who did a bad thing. That's fine. That happens. There are Bernie supporters who tried to shoot a senator. There were people who like McCain who threatened Obama. It happens. It doesn't matter who you think he's talking about. Somebody in every party is a Looney Tune.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whether that's for Bernie, whether that's for Obama, whether that's for Trump, whether that is for you name it. There's somebody in that political party who's a nutcase, and that's part of it. It's like whatever, yeah. They don't represent everybody, and I don't know why it's also so convenient that when Democrats push violence, it's absolutely okay. But when we have a couple guys who just acted by themselves in a bad way, like nope, that's Trump's fault.
Yeah,
Maxine Waters can say, "Hey, go push back on Republicans and find them in restaurants and go bother them and go harass them in public." She's all fine. She's a good American. Trump saying, "Be peaceful." Oh, terrorists.
Oh, absolutely.
Impeach.
Yeah, and I want to touch back on the Antifa thing. They act like we're stupid. Like we can spot out an Antifa member or just someone that does not belong at a rally or a speech. You can spot them out a mile away. They don't blend in. It doesn't matter what hat you throw on your head. You don't blend in. We can tell that you shouldn't be here. Okay,
They
you
all have
can't
this
blend
look
in.
on their face too, and also a lot of them go to the same rallies in like the same states and stuff like that. Like your face is remembered.
Yeah,
Like I don't know why you think we're dumb or something.
it
Whatever.
just amazes me. Like they continue to do the same thing. It's like, hey, and there were people at January 6th like, hey, look, that guy's a Fed. Hey, look, that's Antifa. And you call them out and it's on video and it's like, no, those are Trump supporters. Like they were getting called out in the crowd when it was going on. But you don't want to acknowledge that.
Yeah. And then the FBI has to talk for Congress and they go, well, FBI, did you have agents there? Can't say whether yes or no that. No. Yes or no. Listen, can't tell you.
No,
maybe
can't just say no.
Maybe didn't. I can't tell you. Well, yes or no. There wasn't anybody there. You can't tell us there wasn't anybody there. Like clearly there's somebody there. I don't mean like whenever the government says I don't know, that means yes.
They know.
They know. 100% yes.
Yeah. One other thing about what happened yesterday is Kevin McCarthy lost 14 races.
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, or I mean Hakeem Jeffries, whatever his name is, he lost 15. And then he gave the worst speech I've ever heard in my life. Did you guys hear that speech?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And after being called the unifier, not a divider, that was, I guess, thrown out the window.
Yeah, bro was throwing his cheap shots in there. He was like Mar-a-Lago and every talking point a liberal has said, he said in his speech. He alphabetical. He had something for every single letter, and he pulled every liberal tagline that he could and put it into his speech. Guy, I saw someone's post. I forget who it is. Sorry, I'm not giving the credit. They said it's the Walmart version of Barack Obama, and I saw it instantly.
That was great.
It's just in
Okay,
the tone in
actually,
his
That was
voice.
great.
Like it was something. That speech was terrible.
No, honestly, I don't know how they're not embarrassed at this point. I really don't.
I miss Nancy.
We are living in alternate realities. That's the answer. That's the answer. I miss Nancy.
I knew he was gonna bring her up. It happens every time.
Every time.
I
Every
can't go a
episode.
week without her. I can't even see her in the house anymore.
How am I going to
She
pick
has
my
some
stocks?
pictures online.
You want to send them my way? I don't have them. You got any new ones?
Please. Do you just say
My
wait?
stock portfolio has dropped drastically because I've not been able to copy her and her husband's stock picks.
Oh boy.
Yeah, like my portfolio is down the drain because Nancy's out of office.
You should talk to her about it.
Hey Nancy, I need you back in power so I can continue making money like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe hit Paul up. He swings both ways. You might be able to get in and get to see Nancy.
Me and Paul have some history. I can't work with him anymore.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you and Paul did have history. We talked about this before.
I had a really solid point, but I'm turning blue right now. So
yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Well,
See if that works. No, it didn't. Anyways, as much as I hate her so much, Nancy Pelosi, she was a good speaker for the left. She was. We need someone like that on our side who's going to rip up those documents, who's going to say what needs to be said, and do whatever needs to be done. You know what I mean? Because she was a good speaker for them. She was just evil because they're evil.
Yeah, she's also really old and disgusting to look at.
She is not pleasing.
That's not to play. Sorry, listen, sorry, that's a little mean. That's a little mean. That's a little mean.
No, it's just
I'm not
honesty.
holding back this episode. He's had enough.
Truth hurts sometimes.
Like watching her sit there and like.
He's like, I had to look at her for so long.
Watching her do this with her hands.
What is that? I never understood what she was doing. But you're Kwan, that looks just like her. You're doing a great job.
Doing a wonderful job.
For those who are listening, I'm making 2 fists like a child, and I'm rubbing my palms to my knuckle tips back and forth, like Nancy did.
Yeah, if you're on Apple right now, you're missing out. Go to Spotify, YouTube, or Rumble, then you get to watch us clowns do this every week. Kwan's over here, comedian. He's literally doing whatever he's doing.
If you want to see me turn into a blueberry, also go watch it.
Yeah, it's just one color so far. Yeah. If only there was more. We'll get you to be a rainbow next week. It'll be LGBTQ approved.
Yeah.
Woo.
Send in 1 penny and you can help a young New York girl not be a blueberry. Anything helps.
Oh man.
True.
You know, yeah, we'll get this figured out by next week. There won't be a blueberry appearance. So but yeah, let's just hope the House does their job. Let's hope Speaker McCarthy isn't as ballless, spineless, weak, swamp creature, rhino. I can't think of any other names to call him that I'm allowed to say. Hopefully he doesn't cave like he always has done. I mean, it was a disgrace that the Ukraine flag was like his go-to flag last year. Maybe he should prioritize the American flag since he's the speaker and, you know, he represents our country. But we'll work on that, and let's just hope he does his job for now, I guess.
I'm trying to figure out why they voted present Boebert and Getz. I really can't wrap my head around it unless we go full conspiracy again and say that maybe they have enough dirt on McCarthy to where they can just knock him out anyways.
It's interesting because I heard that, you know, well, it's all his word, so we'll see what he actually agrees upon. Apparently there's supposed to be a low limit, whether it's 1 or 3 people to recall him and try to get him kicked out as Speaker of the House. Mm-hmm. Although I saw a lot of rumors that there were threats against them, that they better cave or, you know, their career would be over. So if that's the case, then voting present, I could see why they do it. I mean, you put up a good fight. But if the entire swamp's got putting pressure on you, I mean, people are going to last so long because at the end of the day, you could say you're fighting a good fight. Everyone's going to cave because they want their job.
Yeah. That's true.
Listen. If you got into politics I feel like this is a very naive, like 20-something-year-old kind of thing to say. Like, if you were that young, naive 20-something-year-old in DC and you came to Congress to change the world and it became harder than you thought it would be, get over it. Yeah, grow up. You guys are all adults, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, a million years old in there.
Nancy, you too.
It's Nancy, you too.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, things are hard, okay? Yeah, politics are hard. Yeah, playing these games with people is hard, okay? Well, you are responsible to people who are not there in the room with you. You're responsible to thousands, if not millions of people in your district, in your area, in your town, in your city. You are responsible for their lives, more so than the president is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of the excuses like, well, it's the political game, it's that and the other thing. I get it. You want to keep your job, you want to be in office. But if you keep saying that I'm going to compromise myself so that I can play this longer game, you will lose yourself in that game. You will become another part of that cog in that machine.
Yep.
You are a public servant. If you come into Congress for the job, then you are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day when we first started this whole beautiful experiment of America, people in Congress, people as president, people had other jobs. They were lawyers. They were business owners. They were X, Y, and Z. They had things to do outside of the office. It was like a thing they did on the side for the country as a public service. It was like bucket duty. Everyone helped in. They're like, okay, cool. I'm a baker, but I guess this week I'll be in Congress and I'm gonna help out. It's not supposed to be your entire life.
Yeah.
I agree. Unfortunately, that's just not how it is anymore. You know,
Well, because
that's their whole life.
when it comes your whole life and it becomes your whole job and stuff like that, then that's when you could start being bought and sold.
Yeah.
And I'm a blueberry again.
Yeah, you say, hey, Quan, we are going to get you fired. I'm like, that's totally fine. I'm going to affect changes as much as I can while I'm here in the next 2 years, and I'm going to go back to my lawyer job. That's fine. No one is not going to hire a ex-Congress member. If you're in Congress, you can get any job you want afterwards.
Yeah.
Goldman Sachs will be like, oh, ex-Congress. Fine. Nope. No, they're like, oh, yeah, ex-Congress. Absolutely. He can work here.
Yeah.
20 people. That's all there was. 20 people had, the spine to stand up to the swamp, and that's out of 220. That's just a rough number. 20 out of 220. So it's sad to see so few, and then 16 caved fairly quick, faster than others. So
to be completely honest, though,
4.
I'm really glad that Trump is seeing this all right now. I'm glad that he's seen everything.
He's making a list. He's checking it
twice.
He's going to find out who's naughty or nice. Trump is coming to town.
Instagram reel right there.
Yep, that's perfect.
Oh my God, don't add this part. Okay.
We're adding that part. That was a quick blueberry moment. So
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So let's hope the House does a job. I think it's time for us to get out of here. We got to solve a blueberry problem. Kwan's got places to be. He's got deals to make. He's got sales to make. He's not a congressman, so he actually has to have a real job.
Yeah.
Go buy his guns.
Yep. Go buy his. They're selling ammo, flamethrowers.
Did you do that? Like what? Yeah, I was gonna say, did you drop that yet or no?
That will be dropping here next week, everybody. Body armor next week. Plate carriers, ceramic plates, whole 9 yards next week. WarfordArms.com.
Order them now. You'll get them in before January 6th next year. So, anyway, this has been the Rhino Show. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.